Hey everybody, it's Anna, Director of Content Production at Bruin Creators. I'm back again with another episode this week on analyzing editing styles. This week we're going to be looking at clips from two videos by film student YouTubers. The first will be Best Dressed, and the second one will be amandamaryanna. I don't really watch these kinds of vloggers myself, but it seems like there's a lot of Best Dressed fans in the club, so I thought it'd be a good idea to look at some of her editing. Besides, it's always fun to look at how film students do their YouTube videos, because I feel like they know a little bit more than the rest of us, maybe. So I picked a lookbook outfit ideas type video from each of them, and today we're going to be using those clips to talk about pacing. What is pacing, and how do you edit fast, and what does slow editing look like? And what is the right pace to edit at? Let's start with Best Dressed's clip. Ooh, that's hard to say.
I also love how tall boots look under midi dresses. Something is just really cool about the fact that the boots and the dress overlap. I don't know why, sometimes I can't explain fashion things, but I think it looks really cool. Cool is apparently most of my vocabulary. Here I'm layering a corset on top of the dress to cinch in my waist, and to give it this kind of gothic Renaissance fair vibe. I look ready to be burned at the stake for absolutely no logical reason. I also love how these boots look with a trench coat, and it's always nice to keep people guessing whether I'm gonna flash them or whether I'm three small children stacked on top of each other.
Alright, pop quiz. How long do you think she stopped talking for? The first time I thought about it, I thought maybe she didn't stop talking at all. I went back and looked, and she did stop talking for 3 seconds about. Personally, I'd say this is a pretty fast style of editing. These days, fast editing is pretty in style because we as humans are pretty much at peak levels of fractured attention. And if a video doesn't keep us completely immersed continuously, there's a chance we snap out of it, think about doing something else, and leave. Plus, nobody wants to be bored waiting for something. So what makes Best Dressed video a little more fast-paced? Let's look at the video one more time, and I've labeled a bunch of the edits that she did to the video so you can see exactly what she's done.
I also love how tall boots look under midi dresses. Something is just really cool about the fact that the boots and the dress overlap. I don't know why, sometimes I can't explain fashion things, but I think it looks really cool. Cool is apparently most of my vocabulary. Here I'm layering a corset on top of the dress to cinch in my waist, and to give it this kind of gothic Renaissance fair vibe. I look ready to be burned at the stake for absolutely no logical reason. I also love how these boots look with a trench coat, and it's always nice to keep people guessing whether I'm gonna flash them or whether I'm three small children stacked on top of each other.
Alright, so what do you think? You might think, oh, it's the cuts. She cuts a lot. She cuts really frequently. That must be fast. But actually, the speed of how fast things cut has nothing to do with the pace. Pace has to do with how quickly you are receiving new information as the video goes on. In this clip, I think what keeps the information coming continuously is the continuous voiceover. You have something to listen to, and she is continuously adding something to what you're seeing. Another technique she uses besides the cuts is a rate stretch. She mainly applied this while she was dressing up, and there's no right way to edit. She could have cut from when she began dressing to when she was finished dressing to show passage of time. But in this particular case, she decided to employ a time lapse. And that's just one way she kept her film moving so that it fit the same length as her voiceover. If you're new to editing, there's a chance you haven't heard of this tool, so I just wanted to do a quick demonstration. So we're here in Premiere, and I'm sorry, I don't know other softwares that well, so I can only talk about Premiere, but I'm sure other softwares have a similar function. So on the left, I have some footage of me picking up some Skittles with chopsticks. I don't really know why I have this video, but let's take a look. Guess what's gonna happen next? Well, if I had to guess, I think I'm gonna pick up another Skittle. Let's see. Aha! I pick up another Skittle. So this is what I mean about pacing, right? Pacing has nothing to do with speed, but it has to do with new information. If I can predict what's gonna come next, if I know what's coming, then that's not new information. And if it takes your video forever to move from point to point, I'd say that's pretty slow pacing and you're risking losing your viewer's interest. So how can you speed up time? Well, the most obvious answer is a cut, but in the case of this Skittle thing, right, if I want to show that I picked up 3 Skittles, I can't just cut part of it out, because then we don't know how many Skittles there were. So I'm going to use a rate stretch. And this is pretty much a tool that just speeds up a clip, or you can also use it to slow down, but I'm going to use it to speed up in this case. So the hotkey on your keyboard is R, and so if we hit R, we select the rate stretch tool. And if you can't remember the keyboard shortcut, it's right here under the third one, right here, rate stretch. And then we just go to the timeline and drag the clip until it's the length we want. And with the rate stretch tool, the clip will be sped up rather than cut. So now we can watch the clip again and say I think it's still too slow, I can speed it up some more. And so now me picking up Skittles is slightly faster. And this could go even faster if I wanted. It just depends on the project and where it's fitting in and how long it has to be. Maybe if there's a voiceover, you have to match the length or something like that. Alright, so now that we've seen an example of fast pacing and learned about the rate stretch tool, let's check out Amanda's video.
Next, we have the math major. I think my initial reaction whenever I come across a math major is, wow, there are people out there who genuinely enjoy doing math and are very good at it, and I'm definitely not one of them. I don't really have any outfits that scream I enjoy trying to figure out unsolvable multivariable equations, so this sweatshirt that says Antique Telescope Society is the closest I could get. I also paired it with this tennis skirt that I definitely missed the window of opportunity to wear outside because it's way too cold now.
Alright, so what did you think about this one? How is it different from the first clip? Overall, I think this clip was edited a little bit slower, and I'd mainly attribute that to the longer section at the end of the clip where she has no voiceover going on. However, pacing is subjective, and there's no right or wrong way to edit. Slow pacing can also be appropriate in certain situations. One obvious reason is that if you don't move from point to point as quickly as you can, it puts more emphasis on the things that you linger on. And once again, this all depends on what genre of video you're editing. But I'd say that if you do have a slower pace, you do risk losing the attention of a viewer who doesn't have a pre-existing interest in the content. Let's check out Amanda's video one more time and look at the edits she did.
Next, we have the math major. I think my initial reaction whenever I come across a math major is, wow, there are people out there who genuinely enjoy doing math and are very good at it, and I'm definitely not one of them. I don't really have any outfits that scream I enjoy trying to figure out unsolvable multivariable equations, so this sweatshirt that says Antique Telescope Society is the closest I could get. I also paired it with this tennis skirt that I definitely missed the window of opportunity to wear outside because it's way too cold now.
So as you can see, I'd say Amanda had a similar speed to how fast she cut, but overall I'd say it's a little bit slower. I hope you learned something about pacing watching these videos today, and hopefully now you can understand how your editing impacts keeping the viewer's attention versus maybe emphasizing something and slowing down a little bit. There were also some other editing techniques in these videos that I didn't go over, such as there was a frame hold, there was ducking, there was like a meme in there, but this is not a tutorial channel and I'm sure there's lots of videos already out there on how to do these things. So if you want to look them up and learn how to do something that you like in a video that you see, I think that's probably the fastest way to improve your editing. And of course, if you're still struggling to figure it out, send a message in the Discord. I'd love to help out. As always, if you have suggestions for next time, like if there's a video that you want me to look at or a certain editing technique you want me to talk about, please let me know. And until next time, happy editing.